One of the biggest discussions behind the Chainsaw Man anime and manga series is what author and illustrator Tatsuki Fujimoto's biggest influences were in creating the story. The dark fantasy ultra-violent anime and manga series is so unique in almost everything it does that even the most manga knowledgeable have a hard time picking it apart. Yet suddenly, one particular panel towards the end of the first part of Fujimoto's manga looked strikingly similar to another mangaka's work. This work and this mangaka were Abara by Tsutomu Nihei, better known as the creative mind behind Blame and the Knights of Sidonia. Abara is a fascinating kind of manga, something that heavily appeals to me and the kind of story I enjoy. Nihei Tsutomu's best work are the ones where his stories take a backseat for the visual splendor that his paneling displays. In work like Blame, Deadheads and Biomega that can definitely work for the better, but in Abara it's almost to the detriment. Set in the same universe as all the Tsutomu Nihei's manga are, the nondescript urban landscape of our nightmares. The architecture is as suffocatingly bleak as usual. The story is fast-paced than Nihei's most well-known work Blame due to this manga's short length. Maybe it would be a good litmus test for the newcomers to his world. When I initially read Abara, I didn't really understand what was going on and ended up dropping it. Upon a reread, I was able to appreciate Abara for the short story it is. The story is relatively simple and most of the information of the story is given, even more so than Blame. All of the information relevant to the story is eventually known, and that is that white gonas are hostile creatures that causes destruction and black gonas are artificially created weapons made by humans in order to counter them. This is pretty much all the knowledge needed to understand this manga. In a work of fiction, not every single thing needs to be thoroughly explained. An example being where the white gonas came from, a question which is irrelevant to the enclosed story. So it does not make much sense for others to not understand what happened in the story, other than a few glossed over details. However, those unfamiliar with Tsutomu Nihei's storytelling methods may come away confused, so I believe it's best to read his other works first. What we have here are a guy in black and a girl in white who are compelled to beat the shit out of each other while destroying everything around them. The beauty is as good as ever, and it is about revealing the graphic details of Nihei's universe, not necessarily what's driving the story. But how were these sprawling structures built in the first place? Is something that I have been asking myself ever since reading Blame. It always takes my breath away. Tsutomu Nihei's scene composition is masterful, regularly showing the scope and perspective of structures that are inhuman in their massive presence. Nihei is a kind of master in show and don't tell. You won't see long monologues of rambling dialogues. You will not see narrative cliches rampant in the mainstream manga. Nihei let the images do the talking. What you see is what you get, and luckily for us there's a lot to see here. Painstakingly detailed environments reveals a lot and nothing at the same time. Ironically, sound is more of a narrative force than dialogue from characters. Sounds such as doors sliding open, objects falling downstairs, all combine to lead you along the way. Characters only do the talking when they need to, and usually mumble meaningless words that only become coherent if we use our imaginations too. Characters that looks like they will be mainstays are introduced briefly, and then are promptly decapitated. Abara is great for what it is. Obviously, it isn't some profound story where you expect to come away with the newfound favorite fiction or expect to find some extremely deep plot. It's a 11 or so chapter story that makes an interesting world wherein human weapons exist to fight terrible creatures. That's it, and it is cool as hell. The art is fantastic and some of it even exceeding those found in Blame. And there is enough information about the world given to feel the visceral, living and yet dreary atmosphere. If you want to read a short romp with excellent art, sick design and cool fights in a uniquely vague world, Abara is for you. With that said, we have come to the end of the video about this short review about the manga that inspired Chainsaw Man. If you enjoyed this video, then check out my other videos about Chainsaw Man over here. And make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more regular anime content from my YouTube channel. And that's it for today's video guys, and I will see you in the next one. Sayonara.